Your heart has been sensing a promise before your life has been able to prove it. There is something quiet, serious, and deeply emotional forming around this connection, and the energy does not feel casual. It feels like someone has looked at you, not just with desire, but with recognition, like their soul paused and whispered, "This is the person I could build with." The card coming through is the Octopus, carrying the message of flexibility, depth, emotional intelligence, and unseen movement. This is not fortune telling, this is symbolism, and symbolically, this person's feelings have many arms beneath the surface. They may only show you one small gesture, one message, one glance, one careful word, but underneath that, their heart is reaching into 10 different futures with you. They are imagining more than romance. They are imagining stability, a home, a shared rhythm, the kind of love that has keys, calendars, morning light, quiet dinners, family conversations, and a place where both of you can finally exhale. This person may not have said marriage out loud, but marriage energy is circling this connection like a moonlit tide, slow, silent, powerful. And here's the first reveal: their silence may not be emptiness, their slowness may not be rejection. The octopus reminds us that some movements happen in hidden waters before they ever reach the shore. This person may be thinking carefully because they know your heart is not something to play with. They see you as someone rare, someone emotionally valuable, someone they would have to approach properly. They may be asking themselves, "Can I be the person you deserve?" Not because they do not want you, but because wanting you has started to feel serious. You awaken the part of them that thinks long-term. You make them consider responsibility, devotion, loyalty, and what it would mean to stop wandering emotionally and finally choose a future. So do not chase. Do not stretch your heart into places where their actions have not yet met you. Let them come forward with clarity. Let them show you whether their feelings have grown strong enough to become real. Because something is happening behind the scenes. A quiet plan, a serious realization, a future conversation forming in the dark like a pearl. And from that quiet place, the energy begins to soften into something even more devoted. What was hidden beneath the surface now starts to show the shape of loyalty. The dog carries the message of loyalty, trust, protection, companionship, and the kind of love that does not want to disappear when life becomes complicated. Again, this is not fortune telling, this is symbolism. And symbolically, this person is not only wondering how much they feel for you, they are quietly asking themselves whether they can be loyal enough, steady enough, present enough to walk beside you through real life. There is something deeply faithful in their energy. Even if their actions have not fully caught up yet, they may be someone who does not give their loyalty quickly. They may observe first. They may test the emotional ground. They may need to feel that a connection is safe before they let their heart attach. But with you, something has softened. Something has recognized a place to stay. This person sees more in you than beauty, more than chemistry, more than the excitement of wanting you. They see the way your heart keeps loving even after disappointment. They see the way you try to understand people. They see your tenderness, but they also see your backbone. They see that you are not just someone to desire. You are someone to protect, someone to respect, someone to come home to. And that is why the marriage energy feels stronger now. Because the dog does not speak of temporary attention. It speaks of devotion that wants to be proven through presence. This person may be thinking, "Can I show up for you consistently? Can I be trusted with your heart? Can I build something where you do not have to question my loyalty every day?" Their silence may be holding questions like this, not small questions, serious ones, the kind that come before a person changes their life, their habits, their priorities, and their future. They may be realizing that loving you would require more than words. It would require commitment, patience, emotional honesty, the willingness to stay when things are not perfect. So if they have seemed quiet, understand this carefully. Hesitation is not always lack of desire. Sometimes hesitation is the moment before responsibility. Sometimes a person pauses because they know the next step cannot be casual. And when they picture that next step with you, they are not just imagining a feeling. They are imagining a life, a place, a rhythm, a future where loyalty has a door, a name, and somewhere warm to rest. That future does not feel rushed. It does not feel like something they want to grab and risk breaking. It feels like something they are learning to approach slowly, with both hands open. The turtle now brings in the message of patience, timing, protection, and building something that can survive more than one beautiful season. This card does not rush. It does not leap into shallow water, just because the surface looks bright. Symbolically, the turtle moves with intention. It carries its home with it. It reminds us that the kind of love being formed here is not just about a spark. It is about whether two hearts can create a place where both people feel safe enough to stay. This is what this person may be imagining when they think about you. Not just the excitement of seeing you, not just the sweetness of holding you. They may picture waking up beside you when life is quiet. They may picture your things beside theirs. Your cup in the kitchen, your voice in the hallway, your hand reaching for theirs without fear. They may imagine a home where love does not have to perform to be believed. There is something about your energy that makes them think of peace after pressure, a soft place after hard days, a life where they can put down the armor they have carried for so long, and they may know that you deserve the same from them. They may be thinking about how to become someone who can offer you consistency, not just chemistry, someone who can give you a real place in their life, not a corner of their attention. For some of you, this person is imagining what it would be like to make plans with you openly, to talk about where the relationship is going, to introduce you with pride, to include you in decisions, to ask what kind of future makes your heart feel secure. They may wonder what kind of home you would want, what kind of family energy you believe in, what kind of routine would make both of you feel emotionally fed. This is why the turtle feels so important. It shows that this future is not being pictured carelessly. This person may be mentally walking through different versions of life with you, slowly testing what feels stable, what feels honest, what feels possible. They are not only watching you, they are considering you, and that is a very different energy. Because to be considered seriously is to be seen beyond the moment. It means they are not just asking, "Do I want you?" They are asking, "Can I build with you? Can I protect this? Can I make you feel safe in a way that lasts?" Their quietness may have a reason, and that reason may be more protective than you realize. That protection now turns into preparation, because before someone can offer you a life, they may first need to understand what must be repaired, organized, and strengthened inside themselves. The raccoon brings forward a more layered message of resourcefulness, preparation, quiet problem solving, and learning how to make something work even when the path is not simple. Again, this is not fortune telling. This is symbolism, and symbolically, this person may be trying to figure out how to come toward you in a way that is not careless, rushed, or unfinished. They may be slow because they are looking at the practical side of love, not just the feeling, not just the pull, not just the way your energy stays with them after the conversation ends. They may be thinking about what they have to fix, what they have to organize, what they have to become more honest about before they can stand in front of you and offer something real. Slow does not always mean uncertain. Quiet does not always mean empty. Sometimes quiet is where a person is gathering courage. Sometimes slow is where a person is trying to build a bridge strong enough for both hearts to cross. This person may be preparing emotionally. They may be trying to understand their own fears, their past patterns, or the parts of themselves that have avoided commitment before. They may be preparing practically, thinking about money, work, distance, timing, family, living situations, or the kind of stability they would need before asking you to trust them more deeply. They may be preparing spiritually in the quiet sense, asking themselves what kind of partner they truly want to be. And this is important. This does not mean you excuse inconsistency. This does not mean you ignore what hurts. Your heart is not meant to survive on hidden intentions alone, but it does mean your intuition may not be foolish for sensing that something deeper is happening underneath the surface. The raccoon can be private, careful, observant. It works in the background, finding a way where others might see only obstacles. And this person's energy may be similar right now. They may not want to make a promise they cannot protect. They may not want to speak forever into your life if they are not ready to carry the weight of that word. That is why their silence feels so full. It is not just absence. It feels like restraint, like someone holding back because once they speak, something changes, and what they have been holding back may not stay hidden much longer. A confession, a plan, or a decision may be moving closer than your eyes can see, and inside that restraint, there is something still growing, not loud enough to be fully seen yet, but alive enough to change everything once it opens. The caterpillar carries a message of potential that has not fully opened yet. This card holds the feeling of something tender, private, and unfinished, but not meaningless. Again, this is not fortune-telling, this is symbolism and symbolically. The caterpillar shows an emotion that may still be wrapped in silence, but inside that silence, something is changing. This person may look calm on the outside, they may act practical, controlled, careful, or difficult to read. They may speak in simple ways when their heart is holding something much more complicated. But beneath that quiet surface, their feelings are not small. They are becoming layered. Desire is there. Admiration is there. Nervousness is there. Protectiveness is there. A fear of losing you may be there too, sitting quietly beside the hope of building something real. They may have tried to tell themselves this connection was not that deep. They may have tried to reduce it into attraction, timing, curiosity, or a passing thought. But your energy kept returning, your voice, your softness, the way you carry yourself, the way your heart feels both gentle and strong. Something about you stayed in the room after you left it, and that is where the confession begins, even if they have not spoken it yet. Attraction may have become admiration. Admiration may have become attachment. Attachment may have become serious future thinking. This is the part they may not know how to reveal yet, because once they admit that you matter this much, they can no longer pretend this is casual. They can no longer treat your presence like something they can simply visit and leave behind. The caterpillar reminds us that some things begin in a hidden state before they become visible. There is potential here, but potential also asks for time, truth, and readiness. This person may be growing into the courage to say what they have been feeling. Not just "I miss you," not just "I care," but something deeper, something that sounds more like, "I see a future with you. And it scares me because I want to do it right." That is why their silence feels charged. It may be holding a confession that is still forming its wings, and before they make their move, they may be watching the timing, reading your energy, and asking themselves when it is finally safe to come closer. That is where the energy begins to shift from private feeling into shared effort. Because a future cannot be carried by one heart alone. It has to become something both people can build together. The ant brings the focus to cooperation, shared effort, and the quiet work that happens before something becomes visible. Again, this is not fortune-telling. This is symbolism, and symbolically. The ant reminds us that real commitment is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built through small choices, repeated choices, the kind of choices that say, "I am willing to work with you, not just feel for you." This person may be observing your energy right now, but not in a way that feels heavy or intrusive. It feels more like they are reading the emotional timing. They may be noticing whether your heart is open, whether you seem peaceful, whether you still have room for them, whether approaching you would bring clarity, or whether it would disturb something you have worked hard to stabilize. They may be asking themselves, would you say yes to a deeper future? Would you trust me if I came forward now? Can we actually build together? Or do I need to become more prepared before I ask for that place in your life? The ant is small, but its message is serious. It speaks of teamwork, partnership, effort that may not look romantic at first, but becomes the foundation of something lasting. This person may be realizing that marriage is not just about loving how you make them feel. It is about learning how to carry life with you, how to solve problems with you, how to stand beside you when days are ordinary, when plans are complicated, when both hearts need patience instead of pressure. So if they are watching, they may be watching for signs of timing. They may be paying attention to what matters to you, what makes you feel secure, what kind of love you respond to, what kind of behavior causes your heart to close. They may be quietly learning the shape of your needs, but hear this clearly. You are not meant to chase this. You are not meant to prove that you are ready for love by overextending yourself. If this person truly wants marriage, commitment, and a future, their actions will have to become clearer. They will have to move from watching into showing, from thinking into effort, from quiet feelings into visible care. You may begin to notice little changes, more consistency, deeper questions, a softer tone, remembered details, protective gestures, a desire to understand your dreams, your home life, your plans, your heart. And when those signs begin to appear, you may finally understand why the delays were not rejection. They may have been protection all along. But protection only makes sense when it leads to wisdom. And now the reading asks you to look back at the quiet chapters with clearer eyes, not with pain alone, but with understanding. The owl brings a message around wisdom, patience, and seeing what could not be understood in the moment. Again, this is not fortune-telling. This is symbolism, and symbolically, the owl sees in the dark. It does not panic because the room is quiet. It listens, it observes. It understands that some truths reveal themselves only after the heart has stopped trying to force the answer. So if there have been delays here, silence, distance, missed timing, or moments where you wondered whether this connection was only living inside your own heart, this card is asking you to look at that chapter with deeper eyes. Not with denial, not with blind hope, but with wisdom. Because delays do not always mean rejection. Sometimes they are protection. Sometimes they keep your heart away from a version of love that was not ready to hold you properly. Sometimes they give this person time to understand the weight of what they feel before they bring it into your life. And sometimes they give you time to remember your own worth, so that when love does arrive, you do not accept less than what your spirit already knows it deserves. The owl carries a quiet kind of maturity. It does not need loud proof every second, but it also does not ignore what is real. So this message is not telling you to tolerate crumbs. It is not telling you to wait forever in confusion. Your heart is not meant to live on almosts, maybes, or hidden feelings that never become action. But it is saying that every quiet chapter was not empty. This person may have needed time to become more stable, more honest with themselves, more aware of what commitment actually means. They may have needed to face the difference between wanting you and being prepared to build with you. Because marriage energy is not just chemistry, it is presence, consistency, respect, emotional courage, the willingness to choose each other when life is not wrapped in perfect lighting. Your patience has not been weakness. It may have been protection from a half-ready offer, protection from someone coming in with desire, but not devotion, protection from words that sounded beautiful, but did not yet have roots. And now, something feels wiser, more grounded, more awake. The silence that once confused you may be turning into understanding. The distance that once hurt may be revealing its purpose. And a conversation that defines the future of this connection may be closer than your heart has dared to believe. From that understanding, the energy begins to settle into something stronger. Not only emotion, not only hope, a foundation, a place where the feeling can finally have structure. The coral brings the energy into foundation. This card carries the message of roots, structure, support, and the quiet beauty that grows slowly beneath the surface before anyone can fully see it. Again, this is not fortune-telling. This is symbolism, and symbolically, the coral shows that what has been hidden in the emotional waters may now be preparing to become something real enough to stand on. This is where delay begins turning into movement. Not rushed movement, not dramatic movement, but the kind of movement that changes the shape of a connection. A conversation may be forming here that does not feel light or temporary. It may carry weight. It may sound like someone finally asking, "Where is this going?" Or "What do you really want for your future?" Or "Can you see me in your life in a serious way?" For some of you, this could be proposal energy, not always a literal ring in this exact moment, but the emotional atmosphere of commitment. A person thinking about making their intentions known, a person wanting to make something official in the heart first, and then in the physical world, a person who no longer wants this connection to live only in hints, glances, silence, and feelings that never receive a name. The coral grows by building piece upon piece. That is what this person may be realizing about love with you. They may know they cannot simply appear with one beautiful sentence and expect your heart to feel safe. They may need to show you a pattern, a foundation, proof that their energy can remain steady after the emotion is spoken. You may begin to notice the conversation becoming more future-focused. They may ask about your values, your dreams, your family, your idea of home, your thoughts on marriage, stability, living together, commitment, or what makes you feel emotionally protected. They may ask in a careful way, almost as if they are testing the strength of the bridge before stepping fully onto it. But the energy feels serious. It feels like something that was once floating underneath the surface is reaching toward the world you can touch. The feeling wants form, the intention wants language, the love wants a place to land, and still, your heart is not meant to chase this. You are not meant to beg someone to build what they already know they want. Let them show you. Let their actions become the foundation. Because the next part of this message is about your power and why you must never shrink yourself just to receive a love that is meant to meet you fully. And that power begins with renewal, not the kind where you run after love, the kind where you return to yourself so fully that real love knows exactly where to meet you. The robin turns the energy gently toward rebirth. This card carries the message of renewal, a fresh emotional season, and the return of warmth after a long, quiet chapter. Again, this is not fortune-telling, this is symbolism and symbolically. The robin reminds you that something can begin again without you having to beg it back to life. This is where the focus shifts to you, your heart, your dignity, your place in this story. Because if a future is truly forming, you are not meant to chase it until you are exhausted. You are not meant to decode every pause until your peace disappears. You are not meant to become smaller, quieter, easier, or less honest just so someone can feel comfortable choosing you. Marriage energy cannot be built on begging. It cannot be built on overgiving. It cannot be built on one person waiting in the dark while the other person decides when to bring a candle. A real future asks for two people, two hearts, two sets of hands willing to build. You may be flexible, you may be forgiving, you may be emotionally deep enough to understand silence, fear, timing, and hesitation. But flexibility does not mean bending yourself into impossible shapes just to fit inside someone else's uncertainty. Your softness is not an invitation to be taken for granted. Your patience is not permission for someone to keep you half-loved. So let this rebirth begin inside you first. Let it be the moment you remember that you can stay open without chasing. You can care without collapsing. You can love without turning your heart into a waiting room. If this person wants a life with you, they must step into the daylight. They must bring clarity. They must bring consistency. They must bring actions that match the seriousness of what they feel. And something about that truth may be what pulls the next chapter forward. Because when you stop reaching past yourself, the energy changes. The connection has room to reveal whether it is real. Their intentions have room to become visible. Their quiet planning has to either rise into effort or remain only a feeling. The robin speaks of a new beginning, but not one where you lose yourself. A beginning where you are chosen properly. A beginning where love does not ask you to abandon your peace in order to receive it. And the final part of this message is about what this connection has been teaching you, and what kind of future may be opening when love finally meets you fully. So the reading closes with an energy that feels steady, abundant, and able to carry the weight of a real promise. Not a fragile fantasy, something stronger, something ready to be lived. The bison brings the message into abundance, endurance, and a future that is not fragile. This card carries the feeling of something strong enough to carry weight. Again, this is not fortune-telling. This is symbolism, and symbolically. The bison reminds you that real love is not only soft, it is steady. It has substance. It can walk through weather. It can hold a promise without shaking every time life becomes heavy. This is where all the quiet pieces begin to come together. The hidden emotional movement, the loyalty, the patience, the preparation, the wisdom, the foundation, the rebirth inside you, all of it has been pointing toward one deeper truth. This connection is asking to become more real, more grounded, and more honest than it has been before. This person may want to build something beautiful with you, something loyal, something emotionally safe, something that does not disappear when the first difficult moment arrives. And even if every listener is not receiving a literal proposal in the same way, the energy here is strongly connected to commitment, to future thinking, to the kind of love that asks, can we make a life together? Can we stand beside each other? Can this feeling become a home? You are not just desired in this energy. You are valued. You are not just admired. You are being considered. You are not just wanted for a moment. You are being seen as someone who could belong in a future that has roots, plans, protection, and a name. And that is why you must stay open, but wise, soft, but grounded, loving, but not chasing. Let this person prove what their heart has been quietly holding. Let them show you that their intentions can become action. Let them bring the conversation, the clarity, the consistency, the effort. Because if they truly want to marry you, build with you, or create a beautiful future beside you, they will understand that your heart deserves more than hints. What was once only a feeling may begin to take form. A message, a confession, a future conversation, a clear choice, a moment where the emotional waters finally give something back to the shore. And when that happens, you may realize that the delays did not destroy the story. They shaped it. They gave both hearts time to become ready for something that could actually last. So let love meet you fully. Let what is serious rise into the daylight. Let what is real become something you can touch, trust, and call your own. If this reading resonated, you can subscribe to Astral Card Vault for more timeless love messages.